The Little Books of Blessing. The Eternal Author's Mysterious Story. Let's have a look on the back page and see what it has to say. Timmy can see Grandpa is worried. The nightly news has convinced Grandpa the world is going from bad to worse. When Grandma reads the eternal love story to Timmy, he learns the eternal author has set in place his mysterious plan for the world. His story tells of a grand beginning, a messy middle, which would require a great sacrifice. Timmy and Grandpa learn the eternal author is guiding every aspect of his love story, and the glorious future has already been put into place. In this first little book of blessing, Timmy learns the author's mysterious story. The eternal author invites you to place your future in his secure hands. Well, let's open up the eternal author's mysterious story. Timmy heard a sigh. He saw Grandpa's bushy eyebrows scrunch tighter. Then he heard another sigh escape from Grandpa's frowned lips. I know how to cheer him up, thought Timmy. Look at my gigantic tower, Grandpa. But Grandpa's gaze did not move away from the screen. Grandpa, look. Timmy kept one eye on the top of his tower and the other hoping for Grandpa's eyes. Shh, Timmy, I'm watching the news. Timmy let his tower crash to the floor. That was sure to get Grandpa's attention. Timmy, it's important I hear what they are saying. Timmy was about to make another attempt at gaining Grandpa's attention when Grandma called them both to dinner. Timmy sat quietly listening as Grandma and Grandpa discussed the worries of the world. I don't know what this world is coming to, Grandpa complained. It's going from bad to worse. It was never this bad in my day. Grandma gave a stern look in Grandpa's direction, then glanced at Timmy. But Grandpa could not stop himself from adding, It's a confused and chaotic world we live in, Timmy. I fear for what the future holds. Grandma announced abruptly, We had a delightful day at the park today, Fred. I'm sure Timmy would love to tell you all about it. But the conversation soon died. Although Timmy tried to cheer them up by telling them some of his new jokes, they only stirred a fleeting chuckle on Grandpa's normally jovial face. Later that evening, Grandma tucked Timmy into bed. She reached over and handed Timmy a gigantic book with a heavy red and gold cover. The book was so big, Timmy had to lie it on the bed. I found a very special book for us to read while you're staying with us. Timmy ran his fingers over its intricate design. In large embossed letters they both read, The Eternal Love Story. Timmy opened the cover and read, The Eternal Author's Mysterious Story. The wise eternal author pondered the great expanse of his imagination. In every direction light beamed infinite possibilities. He ran his fingers through his golden hair and imagined one of his greatest stories. I wonder, he sighed. The angels grew closer, hoping to catch a glimpse of the vision that filled his mind. The author sat for a long time, years perhaps, thinking, pondering, wondering. I want to tell you a story, the author started. More angels gathered until a great company were assembled to listen as the wise eternal author would share his plan. Who will be in the story? Inquired Gabriel. Just watch and wait to see what I have planned, whispered the wise author. Every part of my story will reflect my goodness. It will have a grand beginning, beautifully ordered to display my love and faithfulness through all eternity. I will create a glorious light which will shine continually of my warmth and truth. Flowers abounding in colour will reflect my creativity and diversity. Tiny creatures with intricately complex bodies will creep and scurry in hidden dark places, while gigantic sea creatures will frolic through the deep, shooting fountains high into the sky. There will even be creatures who will be just like me. They will be my family. They'll be creative storytellers just like me. They will have families like mine, live in gardens, build cities, and they will shine my glory and blessing throughout all the universe. Everything I reflect, glimpses of the magnificent future I am planning. The angels gasped. You mean you already know how the story will end? There will be no end. It is an everlasting story, and even though I'm planning every detail, I will share my plan with my family at the right time. I'll even let my family share in writing my love story. It will become our story. The author paused, and his face showed a fleeting shadow of grief. What is it, wise eternal author? What will happen? Because my family share in my likeness, I must give to each one the freedom to choose to love me or to reject me. They must be allowed to follow my magnificent creation, and I know they will. They will reject me and try to rule my creation on their own. I see that they will pollute my beauty and twist my words until they completely forget that I created it all, for them to know my love and goodness. The author's face grew serious. It will be messy. There will be days of sorrow, days of evil, days of confusion. A great sacrifice will need to be made. The author looked further into the future, and a broad smile returned to his face. My love and goodness will triumph over all the mess my creatures cause. I will restore it so that it's even better than it will be at the beginning. Oh my, the angels gasped. May we watch it all unfold? Do tell us how the story begins. All in good time, the author answered, leaning back in his chair. All in good time. Well, Grandma closed the book. Timmy explained, Please, Grandma, can we read some more? Tomorrow night, Grandma winked and tucked Timmy into bed. As Timmy closed his eyes, a picture filled his mind of the wise eternal author telling the angels his grand, mysterious story. The next morning when Timmy opened his eyes, the heavenly scene which had so filled his mind was nowhere to be seen. Grey clouds and steady rain dampened all his plans of sandcastles, climbing gyms, and a picnic at the park. Oh, Grandma, Timmy wailed, it's a horrible day. Grandpa too joined in, and no golf for me. I guess I'll finish that job in the garage. For the rest of the morning, Timmy amused himself by drawing a picture of the heavenly scene he'd heard about in Grandma's big decorative book. The smell of sausage rolls drew Grandpa out of the garage and to the kitchen table for lunch. Timmy showed Grandpa the picture he had drawn. Grandpa spent a long time looking at Timmy's picture. He said it reminded him of a story that he'd heard before, a story he had not read for a long time. I know the wise and eternal author, Grandpa uttered quietly, still gazing at Timmy's picture. You know, Timmy, this picture reminds me that although I do not know all that the future holds, I know the one who holds the future. That night, instead of watching the world news, Grandpa listened as Grandma read the next chapter of the eternal love story, and Timmy noticed the smile on Grandpa's jovial face had returned. Well, on the back page of every little book of blessing, the author has written a little letter to her readers. Dear reader, some things are best explained as a story. This story is part of the Little Books of Blessing series. Each story is designed to illustrate a simple truth about God or to tell a story from God's Word in a creative and engaging manner. My prayer is as you read this little book or read the story to your little one, you may be reminded of the eternal good news story planned by the grand author before time began. May each story encourage you and give you hope as we await the glorious future God has prepared. If you wish to know more about God's amazing plan for us, I'd love to hear from you. With every blessing, Melinda McMahon. Well, I hope you enjoyed reading the eternal author's mysterious story. Make sure you check back soon for the next in the series of the Little Book of Blessings.